Hello, so today I'll be talking about technology literacy, as you can see here on the screen. We'll namely be talking about what's a computer, so the components, what's inside, what's outside, as well as operating systems, applications, and other types of computers, such as laptops and mobile devices. So to begin, what is a computer? A computer is an electronic device for storing and processing data, typically in binary form, so that's in zeros and ones in any number of order. Examples of computers include mobile devices, so like your cell phones, and then tablets, game consoles like the PS4 or the Xbox, televisions, and servers, so kind of what you see on television in those corporate server rooms, those big black boxes. All right, and so moving on, computers also, well, this kind of goes on with that definition, how it's an electronic device that manipulates information or data. So components of a computer, as you can see on the image right over here, a computer usually, like when someone says computer, they usually mean a computer case, a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse. So the computer case, it can be a tower or desktop. This is currently a tower computer case because it's standing straight up. Now, if it's lying down and the optical disk drive, which we'll talk about later, if it comes out when it's laying down, that is a desktop computer. This is not a computer. This is called the monitor. This is the computer. So that's a common misconception. I had that misconception for a long time as well until about 10th grade. This is the keyboard as many of us have used. And then alternatives to mice or mouses are trackballs and touchpads. So touchpads are kind of what you see on laptops and such. And then trackball, you control it using a ball. So outside of computer, on the front, normally there is a power button, and then there's the optical disk drive. So as I said earlier, this is a desktop because once it comes out, you're going to put the disk in straight like that. Um, then there are audio and USB ports. So this USB port can support USB drives, so flash drives and peripherals such as printers or scanners. Now on the back of the computer, there's the power socket, what we need to use to run it, so what plugs into the wall and such. An Ethernet port which connects to the internet, and then expansion slots. We'll talk about that more later, but essentially expansion slots are ways that you can kind of upgrade your computer in specific areas. So if you want better wireless connection, you can put in a wireless expansion slot. Or another example is if you want better graphics, if you're an avid gamer and you want better graphics, you can put an expansion slot in there. Now on the inside of a computer, you'll see here is a motherboard, and this kind of stores a whole bunch of important information that we'll talk about. So to begin with, first, to run a computer, you need a power supply that is right over here. And as you can see from the previous screen, the power socket is right about here. Now onto the motherboard. So inside the motherboard, there is the central processing unit or CPU. This is pretty much considered the brain of the computer. It controls and executes commands and operations, and then it makes sure that what you want to be done gets done. Now, covering the CPU is a heat sink, and normally heat sinks kind of look like fans like over here. It didn't show up in this photo, so I put another one up here. Now, the heat sink makes sure that the CPU, central processing unit, does not overheat. Since it works so hard, sometimes it can overheat, so that's what the heat sink is for. Now, as you can see here, this is the random access memory, or the RAM. Now, it's used to perform calculations, and it is cleared off every time you turn off your computer. Now, the information that is not cleared off when you turn off your computer is stored in the hard drive, which is right over here. That is like your memories, your file, the memory of your computer and files and such. Now, expansion slots, I said we get back to it, it's right over here. So as you can see, the expansion slots can go back here, and these are just the places where they can stay. So like the graphic and the wireless enhancements, they are stored right over there. Now next, what is an operating system? So essentially, an operating system is a software that allows for interaction between the user and the computer by communicating the desired actions of a user in a language that the computer understands. So that's pretty much that pretty much means that the operating system manages the memory, the processes, the software, and the hardware on your computer. Now, the software is like the programs. So the Adobe Suite is software. You can't really see it, but you know it's on your computer somewhere. Hardware is more like the computer and the monitor. So I like to think of the operating system as a conductor in an orchestra or a band. It makes sure every program gets what it needs from the CPU, memory, or storage. So it kind of makes sure that uh, all the programs that are running gets what it needs and they run together. Operating systems, they use a graphical user interface, which is called a GUI, spelled G-U-I, all capitalized, and it allows for the user to dictate their movements through a mouse. So like as I'm doing right now, moving my mouse, I can click icons, buttons, and menus, and that information translates to the computer and commands the computer to do what I want it to do. And then everything shows up on the screen as graphics and text instead of just binary code or things that we cannot necessarily understand that the computer thinks in. So types of operating system include the Microsoft Windows, Mac OS 10, and then Linux. These are the most common operating systems. So Microsoft is used for PCs. Mac is mainly used for Apple. Next, what are applications? So applications or apps are programs that run on your computer or mobile device. So those are the laptops, the tablets, and it allows you to do something. So in specifics, some applications are used for tasks and others are used for fun. So as we can see here, um, they're mainly used for communication, productivity, and entertainment. So that can include video players and games. So you see there's Vimeo, there's YouTube, Calculator, Skype, and Temple Run. These are all apps. They allow you to do something. And these are the icons that usually show up on mobile devices. And so other things that apps can do, so like the camera, you can take notes, you can go on maps and search for things. Those are apps. They help you do a specific function that you want and can connect with people. And then finally, what are laptops and mobile devices? So the benefits and pretty much the difference between a laptop and like a desktop computer or set with the monitor, keyboard, and mouse is they're all in one. They're an all-in-one unit. The mouse, the keyboard, the computer, the monitor are all together on one device. You don't have to move all of them, and that's what makes it easy to move around. So easy mobility. You can take a laptop, put it in your backpack, and continue your work in a coffee shop and then bring it back home and continue at home instead of having to lug around 3 or 4 different things at one time. So what makes it also easy to move around is the internal mobility source. So as you can see here, features of a laptop, usually that make it really easy to move around, is it has an internal battery, which you can charge and recharge with an AC adapter. So this battery allows you to not have to be connected to a wall plug every single second that you're using it. This is great if you need to go on vacation and need to take a laptop, but remember to take the charger if it's a long vacation. And it's great if your power goes out since you'll still have that battery. Other features of laptops and sometimes even mobile devices is the touchpad or trackpad. So touchpad is usually seen on a laptop. Mobile devices mostly now, smartphones have touch screens. And then ports. So I know that, excuse me, laptops, they have USB ports and there's the audio port. And I believe this is an HDMI cord and this might be, looks like an Ethernet cord. My apologies, not really sure on that yet. But the USB ports allow you to connect a mouse if you want to, so you don't have to use the touchpad or trackpad. And you can also connect flash drives to transfer information. You can also connect the peripherals that we talked about, so the printers and the scanners. And those are pretty much the main things that we are going to talk about in this technology literacy. So computers are an amazing thing. Technology is amazing. And sometimes it may seem like a mystery what's going on and all of that. So hopefully this helped clear up some things. All right, thank you.